My name is Dubwork. I'm a hip hop artist. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm shoot, Mr. 100 Hustles. I do a million things. I'm a Swiss Army knife. Yeah, I do a lot of things. I help with social media consultant. I have a lot of clients with that on that side of things. Um, yeah, and I'm like a serial entrepreneur for sure, for sure.
The truth. I love it, man. I love the Swiss Army knife for sure, man. That's how we gotta be, for sure, for sure. So, real quick, man, what inspires you to take the leap into entrepreneurship, and how did you know this is the right path for you?
Shoot, man. I feel like everybody in my family is entrepreneurs. My my grandfather was an entrepreneur. He always had his own business. My dad has his own business. A lot of my aunts and my uncles have their own businesses. So it's just something that is just embedded in my family. It's something that's just what we do. We just do our own thing, pretty much, self sufficient.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I think it's super important, to pass that seed down. Um, and I was one of those ones that was actually blessed enough to also have a few entrepreneurs in my family as well to really plant that seed, because I think it's definitely a seed that need to be planted. um, I know we've been talking about the market and talking about idea validation. Since the year started, that's usually module 2 for our program as well. Can you share like a surprising insight you discovered doing your market research that shaped your business idea? How did you get into your industry?
Um, so just repeat the question one more time, just so I could make sure I answer you correctly.
Most definitely, most definitely. So, and it's kind of a two-part question, for real, for real. So,
Okay.
can you share a surprising insight you discovered doing your market research that helped shape your business idea? How did you get into the industry that you're in?
Okay. Shoot. Definitely your contacts is important, like the people that you know, and having good relationships with people is like the most important thing to me. And your word is everything, like moving with integrity and saying, doing what you say you're going to do is super important, especially in business, so that when you talk to somebody, people know that they're talking to somebody that they can trust. People know that they're talking to somebody that moves with integrity, somebody that's not just talking to talk, not just chatting. That's really the most important thing that I have found, for real, for real.
I love that.
And
I
then
love that.
the second part of that question was,
So, how did you get into the industry that you're in right now?
I mean, I do music, so I'm always around people with doing marketing, videographers and things like that. And it just went hand in hand because I've always been an open book in terms of what I do with my music. I'm not somebody that gatekeeps. If I find something that works for me, I don't mind sharing it. I don't have no problem sharing it with anybody, like any artist that hit me up. I'll be like, yo, I'm doing this and this and this. This is how I do it. This is how I shoot my stuff. This is who I'm shooting it with. So mainly that's how I got connected with it.
I love that. I love that, man. I love. I think it's important to really understand that it's enough for everybody. You know,
Exactly.
'Cause we
Exactly.
all need that village. We all need those people that can really step in and give us the blueprint. Especially when you're just getting into something. You get what I'm saying? I think we all, I think that's one of the best things about our community is that we got mentors and of different advisors that can kind of help us go down that journey, and I think that's super important. So I think that's and I think you end up being blessed anyway. You get what I'm saying? Like I think a
Yeah,
lot of people,
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. I don't feel like with music, I don't feel like I provide anything that, like, I feel like the abundance is everlasting. There's not something that I provide that I'm taking away from somebody. And I've had experiences with people that has done like little gatekeeping stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm never doing that. That's never the person that I want to be. I never want to stop or not give somebody some information that I could easily give them, that like it's nothing to for me to provide them the information. So I'm big on it. Like, I'm an open book. Anybody that hits me, any artist that hits me, I always love to give them gems.
And I really want to talk about, since it's the end of March, we've been talking about planning strategies. I know you into, the social media world. You've been, you like a guru when it comes to strategies. I know you're very strategic when it comes to your music. What is the most critical element of your plan? You believe sets you apart from competitors?
Shoot, the most important part of the plan is actually having a plan. Like, don't try to wing it. Just take I always tell artists, like, take some time to make a plan for what you want to do, even what you want to release, at least like 3 months out. Like, okay, I'm gonna drop a single March 20th. I'm gonna drop another single April 20th. I'm gonna drop another single May 20th. And in between that, I want to drop 15 pieces of content for each single. So what's the plan of how you're going to do that? What days exactly are you going to do that? What days do you know that your peoples are watching most? Like, look at your insights in Instagram, look at your insights in all of your social media, so you know the times and the days that people are really tapped in, so that you can hit them on those times. And then stick to the plan. Like, stick to the plan, like, because consistency is everything. Like, I see artists all the time. They drop something and then they fade away for 4 or 5 months, and then they drop something, and they might drop one piece of content for something, and the song will be fire. But if you drop in one piece of content, you're not really giving that song any chance at all, because it's like, okay, maybe the algorithm wasn't doing what it was supposed to do that day. Like, you got to drop multiple different things, and even sometimes just redrop the same things that you dropped before. Like, don't be shy about that.
Man, man. You just dropped a bunch of gems right in right just like that. I got to give you a round of applause for that, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. First of all, the biggest thing that you said, man, what really set you apart is actually having a plan. Especially, I don't want to, be too hard on my artists out there, but the music business is one, was really the first industry that I jumped in, and and one of the reasons why I started consulting, because most people just don't have a plan, especially in the entertainment industry. I don't know what's up with that. Most people just think they just gonna jump in and blow up instantly. But they don't go in with a business mindset. Like, oh, I still, even though even though I'm an entertainer, I still have to have a business plan if I want to turn this into a business. If you're one of those people that you're just doing it because you love it, you're just doing it as a hobby, that's a whole
Mhm.
other ball game. But if you get to the point where you want to make money from this industry, I think you always got to have a plan, and that's super, super tough. Um, I come across, because we manage social media pages as well. I get a lot of people that they really don't understand the full scope of it. They just think like, okay, you just posting on our page and that's it. So you really touched on some of the things that goes on behind the scenes, as far as mapping out what's the best times to post, and different things like that. Is really a science, behind it for sure. What's one of the most common things that that you really have to explain to people when it comes to social media marketing or managing a page, that just keep popping up?
Um, I would think the most thing is, like, people aren't consistent. People think that it's gonna be a one and done thing. Like, they're gonna, just because they have the most polished piece of content, that they're gonna put it up, and that thing is just gonna blow up, and it'd be like, yeah, man, it doesn't work like that. You gotta drop things. You gotta drop things at the right time. There'll be sometimes that people will drop things that, I'm gonna drop this at 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. I'm like, yeah, that's probably not the best time to drop something. Like, everybody's not tuned in at 12 a.m. You probably want to drop things when people are either going to work, coming from work, or maybe in the middle of the day when people are at lunch and actually have the time to check it out. So, uh, the most common thing really is that people will drop something, and if it doesn't build the momentum that they think, because maybe they might have spent a whole bunch of bread on that production, they get super discouraged. And sometimes people give them too much, right? Like, let's say you get a piece of content done and it's two verses. They'll give them the whole two verses, like in like the first time, and I'm like, yeah, man, you could have broke that up and gave
Mhm.
them little pieces of content and made that one piece of content 7, 10 pieces of content, like, and seeing what worked best, and then based on what worked best, then you could run some ads on what worked best, and and then attract more people into the Instagram, attract more people into the brand, uh like that. That's the most thing that I see from people, really.
No, I definitely get it. You know, it's definitely one of the biggest things is always having realistic expectations, but also just understanding that sometimes you just gotta tweak it. We shout out to my boy Irene Bales. We just kind of went through a similar situation where he dropped his latest one of his latest singles, which is Power Up. Make sure you guys go stream that. But he dropped that the first time we dropped it. It really didn't give him the response that he was looking for. So what we do, we redropped it. We created some different types of pieces of content around it. He actually got got a new feature on it. So the original version was just him. He went and got somebody else, and not even got that. That whole story was crazy how that worked out. But it ain't like he really went and searched for somebody to get on there. But things just happened and aligned in the way to where okay, once all that happened, we revamped the marketing strategy, and now we re-put it out. Now it's like 1.8 million views, and he's been going up off of it. So sometimes you kind of got to go back to that drawing board and reorganize some things. I think that's what I love about the podcast and the live streams that we do and that we host as well, because off of one piece of content, you might got an hour long piece of content. Now we got like 10 to 20 pieces of content off of that one piece of content. You know,
Exactly,
breaking it
exactly.
down. So that's why we really been. That's another reason why we've been hitting in with our brainstorming sessions as well, man. Because we get so much value in 1 hour. Sometimes we go over. We got some brainstorming sessions that might go into 2 hours, stuff like that. But we try to keep it around 1 hour, to kind of engage and give people as much value as possible without you know running them dry. You know what I mean? People get bored after a while. Speaking of that, man, I see you guys blowing up that chat. I love it. I love it. Make sure you guys don't forget we got today's icebreaker question. What's one trend you think every entrepreneur should be paying attention to right now? Make sure you guys blow up that chat. I want to see our different answers. Real quick, man, Dub. I want to hear your take on this icebreaker question. I know you commented earlier, but what's one trend you think every entrepreneur should be paying attention to right
Shoot. Of course, content creation, that's big. Being able to create content on whatever it is that your business field is in, is it's just free promotion that you could just jump on social media, and if you're providing value and if the content is engaging and interesting, it could go viral and bring you a ton of customers, whether it be, for a restaurant, or whether it be an artist. It's creating content and being nonstop with the creation of content and being relentless with the creation of content. That's something that I think is super important. Yeah, man. And when I commented, I actually commented Bitcoin, because I'm heavy on the Bitcoin. I feel like that's the best saving tool, best savings tool in the world. So those are two things that I think are super important right now.
now? Expand on that a little bit. You want when you say that, what do you mean by it's the best saving tool?
Shoot, man. I think it's the best asset in the world. I think everything goes to zero against Bitcoin right now. I feel like people storing their value in real estate and in in houses, like, it doesn't make sense, because you could store it in Bitcoin and your money grows exponentially. like way faster, as opposed to you keeping it in a house, or you storing a bunch of different houses to store your money, as opposed to just putting it in one thing that's a savings vehicle that grows at the very least 60% every year. There's nothing that's giving you those returns. Like, you go to the S&P 500, you go to anything, there's nothing that's giving you those returns. And if there's nothing against day traders or nothing like that, you could day trade too. But I always say throw that into the Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin is going to grow for you the quickest way possible, in my opinion.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So for somebody that's that's really not too savvy on what Bitcoin is, I know I've been seeing Bitcoin for years now. Back when my boys used to run some little games or whatnot back in the day.
Yeah.
And coming from Detroit, we got Bitcoin ATMs a little early. But for somebody that really haven't gotten into it or really know what it is, can you break down what is Bitcoin, and how can somebody that really don't have too much knowledge on it get into investing in Bitcoin and really kind of putting their money?
Um. So, like, I don't even like to bunch Bitcoin into a cryptocurrency, because Bitcoin is the money. It's like the ocean when it comes to cryptocurrency. It's not like any other cryptocurrency. Other cryptocurrencies start with pretty much humans start something, they have an idea behind it, and then they get people to fund and put money towards their coin. And sometimes they finish what they say they're going to do. A lot of times they don't finish what they say they're going to do, and they just rug pull and run with the bread. As opposed to Bitcoin, that's run by the blockchain, which is a network of computers that confirms every single transaction that happens on the network. Um, so I feel like it's the hardest money. It's the most honest money. It's not like the dollar that's devaluating every single year. The government literally just prints dollars every day, and it just devalues your money. It devalues your time. There's just less that you can buy with the same amount of money. You make the same amount of bread, but you can buy less and less every day. There's less and less of what you can buy with that same amount of money. So Bitcoin is the hardest money. Like, it's not, it can't be manipulated by anybody, and it can also be verified by everybody. So if you're saving in that, and it's growing at the very least 60%, because there's years that it grows even more, you can't lose. And it, a lot of people will be like, yo, it's volatile, it goes up and down. And the volatility is kind of a feature of it. It's a feature. It's not something that you should worry about, because all it does is give you a discount in the amount that you can get for cheaper, because you know it's going to keep going up. It only goes up. It drops, right, but then it goes right back up every time. So it just gives you the ability to stack up more every time.
You can't beat it. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. Especially when you're talking money, man. So we talk about this all the time, man. When it comes to funding, um, what advice would you give entrepreneurs seeking funding for the first time, based on your own experiences, for somebody that just need that funding, that need that capital?
Shoot, I would say the first thing is getting your credit together, man. Get your credit together. That is the most important thing. That's like your integrity in terms of financial, in financial terms. Your integrity is your credit. That speaks for you. That says, okay, look, when I take a loan, I pay the loan back based on this number that the creditors, give me. Like, having your credit together is super important. It opens a lot of doors. You could go into whatever bank and really ask them for what you want. You could take these loans out. So first and foremost, before you go for funding, make sure that that credit is at least at a good point, man. That's what I would say is more important. I don't want to say any specific numbers so that somebody be like, oh man, I got it to a 730 and then I wasn't able to. Nah, like, get your credit good. Above a 700 is good. Above a 750 is great. But that's gonna help you out to be able to get that money that you want.
Yeah, man, we talk about this a lot, especially on our standing on business webinars, hosted by Mr. Fixit. Shout out Mr. Fixit, one of our financial advisors. But this is something that we talk about all the time, and we've been helping our members, get where they need to be when it comes to personal and business credit as well. Because hey, man, you can really it's a lot of different, it's a lot of money out here, it's a lot of funding out here. You just got to put yourself in position to be able to receive it and qualify for it. especially when it
Yes.
comes to your business structure, separating your business and personal, different things like that. We really touch bases on because it's out here. We just gotta apply ourselves, man. Just like these
Facts.
grants, it's a lot of organizations and different programs for grants and stuff like that. So we steady on it when it comes to doing stuff like that for sure. I know we've been talking about some gems that you wanted to drop on some other ways that people can actually earn some revenue as well. I wanted you to kind of touch on that and kind of go into the kind of going touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but basically, there's a way that um, I started working with a company, and there's a way that you can make a good 1 to 10K from your phone. It's super easy. When I'm telling y'all, it takes an investment, but the thing about investing in it is that you never lose your initial investment. Let's say you can't do what they're asking of you, they'll return your money. It's not like one of those. MLM things or anything that you put your money in and you work, and if you can't put in you can't put in the work or complete the task, you still lose your bread. This is one of those things that if you can't do it, you will get your full refund back, man. And it's been a life changer for me. It's been something that's taught me a bunch of different things about the crypto space also. um and it's something that, like, it's just been a game changer, yo. It's just been a game changer. It's basically a shared scooter company. I don't know if you guys have been are familiar with different shared scooter companies. It's basically a shared scooter company. You put in a certain amount, and what you do is you're sponsoring a certain amount of scooters, but your money is solidified based on what you put in. So let's say you put $960. That 960 initial investment always stays there, and then you're making a residual 912 every 30 days after that. The next tier is 2180. You put 2180 in, and you're making 2025 every month from here on out. You're making 2025, and there's another tier that's I believe it's 4680. You put in 4680, and you're making no, you're putting 48 something, and you're making 4600 every 30 days. And then there's a higher tier. You put in 10,700, and you're making $9,945 on your money. And it breaks it down in days. That first tier, you're making $30 a day. That second tier, you're making $64 and 50 cents a day. And that next year you're making $154 a day, literally a day. And it's super easy. So if you guys want more information, because I don't want to go super deep into it, if you guys want more information, my social media handle should be somewhere here. Tap in, hit me up, and I'll break it down for you. Jump on a call and explain exactly how it works. But it is super lucrative, and it's a super simple business model. You're literally pressing a button on your phone, watching the time go down, getting your money at the end of that time, and it's legit, legal, MSB, licensing. They have all their business paperwork. They're licensed to work. They have government contracts, so it's super official.
That's super dope, man. I love that you dropping those jewels. How long have you been working with this company, and how did you come across it? How did you stumble across it?
I've been rocking with them for I'm in it for 2 months. The person that told me about the company has actually been in it for a year, and his dad that told him about it has been doing it for 2 years. But the company's been around since 2018, so definitely something that works, definitely something lucrative, and super, like, I'm like, it's so easy that I couldn't believe it. Like, when my friend was telling me about it, it took me a long time for me to go to his crib to actually get tapped in, because it was just like, yo, bro, this sounds too good to be true. But everything's official, everything played out exactly the way it's supposed to be, and I've been getting paid. um and it's official, man.
I love that. I love that, man. I love that legal advice. I love that funding advice. Hey, definitely. If you want, send me a link too. I can make sure our people get it that actually registered for
Gotcha.
the so we can send that out to them, man. We love sending out
Will do.
resources, tools. We want to see our people grow. That's what it's all about, man. Speaking of growing, I got a couple more questions for you, real quick. I wanted to touch
Yeah.
on scaling and growth. What key factor contribute most to your business growth, and how did you identify and capitalize on that opportunity? How did you really, pinpoint what was that thing that really just, shot you up, and that you really understood, like, okay, this is how what I need to keep doing to grow.
The most important thing has been consistency, honestly. Like being consistent with what I'm doing has been the most important thing. Setting a plan out and then executing on that plan and being consistent every time that I say, okay, I'm going to release 20 pieces of content this month. I made sure I released them 20 pieces of content and I saw the numbers scale. Like it's like you can try and wait and see if you can create the perfect piece of content and edit it, and I don't feel this type of way, but you could just jump out there and make it perfect later, and people are going to watch you, watch you fail forward or watch you do your thing and go straight to it. It's just creating and being consistent. The consistency is going to be everything else, like, honestly.
Hey, consistency is key. I always tell my people that. It's something that we had to really see, and it's hard to stay consistent, man. It's super hard. So, like, real quick, man, how do you balance? Because when you say 20 pieces of content, for some people that's like, man, that's super hard to do. How do you balance your personal time in, with your business? How do you balance your business and personal? That's what I would like to say. How,
Um,
how do you?
I set out blocks of time. Like I'm big on setting out blocks of time to do certain things. Like so let's say I'm gonna create content. I'm gonna take Sunday to create content. I'm gonna take 5 hours to create content, right? So in those 5 hours, I'm gonna make sure that I get 15 outfits or 10 outfits. I plan the locations ahead of time so I know exactly where I'm going. I'm gonna shoot on my roof, I'm gonna shoot on my staircase, I'm gonna shoot here, I'm gonna go to the park. I know I have a plan so that I'm not Sunday doesn't come and I'm not like going crazy. And then I change my outfit. So now in that 5 hour block, I might have shot shoot 20 pieces of content. And those 20 pieces of content might be for two verses or for a verse, right? And then I'm going to break each one of those pieces of content into 3 or 4 pieces of content. So really, you shot 20 pieces, but out of those 20 pieces, we stretched the work and made it into 60 pieces of content if you really think about it. And you can knock all of that out really in one day, and then I take another day to just this all I'm doing is editing today. All I'm doing is editing today. And I just knock out the editing, then I make a plan of okay, how am I dropping these pieces of content, like what's the day, so that it's a no-brainer. I don't have to think about it. And even with Instagram having the scheduling tool, you could literally schedule it, set it and forget it. Like you could have your caption, so because there's mad little things that you could get stuck on, like, oh, now I don't know the caption or I don't know what date. Just plan all of that ahead of time, set it and forget it, and that's it, man. It's gonna post for you. You set all your settings, and you can literally set it out for the month ahead, and now you have a month of it literally doing itself for you. You don't have to post it. You have the caption already and it posts itself. Like that's me planning my content ahead of time has been a game changer. Me planning anything that I'm doing ahead of time has been a game changer.
Nah, definitely. And it revolves back to that magic word, planning. It all revolves back to having some type of structure, and discipline for the most part. Most people don't have that discipline to set a time that, set aside that time. And I think it's really going to just go ball down to as well. How much do you want this? How much do you want your business, or your brand to grow? How much are you gonna? I mean, how much time are you really gonna put into, creating that content? I got a lot of business owners that I come across like, man, I don't have time. I don't have the time. Sometimes we gotta, hey, we make time for what we want. So,
You
you
got to make the time, man.
we make time for what we want. So you gotta just want it, man. So real quick, what key factor, um, Well, let me put it like this: how has your mindset evolved as a leader, and what practices do you incorporate to maintain a positive entrepreneurial spirit?
Um, shoot, my the the biggest thing is trying to stay positive. I also try to incorporate going to different things where I can express myself differently. I go to men's groups. I go to men's groups on Wednesday, where we just sit on the beach and talk. So being able to express yourself, um, and just just vent, um, is really big. Is really important to me. Being able to start the day and give yourself time to yourself is also super important. Like I like to wake up early and give myself that little hour that I'm just by myself thinking about a plan or watching some video on YouTube that can help me, or maybe just take times out of your day to just breathe and just pause and just be still and breathe. That's been a super game changer for me because I was always on go. I'm from New York and I was always on go, just always on go. I moved to Puerto Rico and things just I learned how to slow things down and just
I love it. I love it.
everything that I'm doing. I'm sorry, I got a call.
You good? But not like sometimes you gotta slow things down.
Hold on.
I always talk
Jesus
about taking
Christ.
it back to the basics. You already know how that's gonna go. But yeah, slowing it down is super dope. It's super important. And taking out that time, and we've been, that's something that we've been talking about a lot. These last few weeks, talk about meditation, taking out that time for yourself. So I think it's super real, man. It's super real.
Man.
Can you hear me?
I don't know what's going on with this now.
Go ahead and log out and log back in. Probably because you got a call. Real quick, man. Real quick. If you still tapped in with us, man, make sure you guys blow up that chat. Make sure you guys blow up that chat. I still need to see some more answers for this icebreaker question, man. What's going on, man? I know y'all paying attention to the trends out here. What's going on to all my trendsetters? What's one trend you think
Mike,
every
Mike,
entrepreneur should be paying attention to right now, man? Blow up that chat. Blow up that chat.
Mike.
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
My bad. Somebody just called my phone.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I got to blowing up the chat real quick, but real quick, man. I really just wanted to touch back on what you were saying about really just taking it back to the basics, slowing it down a little bit, making sure that you take out that time for yourself. When you first get up, I think that's essential, super crucial to somebody's day. You really just taking out that time, making that time that because I used to be that type of person who's like, man, I ain't got time to meditate and do all of that. Because as soon as I get up, I'm at it. But ever since I have been taking out that time, meditating a little bit more, I definitely been seeing the difference. And we've been encouraging our family to do the same. Really take out that time to really get your mental together. It's super important. So real quick, man, I don't want to hold you up too much longer, man. Let them know where they can find you real quick and what you
You
got
can
coming.
find my social media accounts is Dubwork on Instagram, Dubwork underscore on Twitter, and Dubwork on TikTok. Man, you can hit me up. I'll be checking my requests all the time. Hit me up if I don't like respond to your request. Just comment on one of my joints. I'll definitely tap in. Any questions y'all have, artists, entrepreneurs, anybody, tap in. I'm more than happy to help with anything content wise, anything business wise, anything, man, anything that I have knowledge on. I have no problem spreading that knowledge. I'm gonna be happy to hear from y'all.
Give the mob a quick shout out real quick.
Big shout out to the mob. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the platform. I've been meaning to tap in for a long time. I just been doing a lot, but yeah, man, I'm glad we finally got to link up for real, man.